guys, welcome to another episode of Sonova's True Crime Stories on YouTube. Today we're talking to ex-mob associate Sidney James Hurd. He is the subject of my first true crime book, Unorganized Crime. You can check that out on Amazon. Today we're going to go back down memory lane and we're going to reminisce about his time in a very difficult prison called Raiford, and it's in Raiford, Florida. So we have found some old pictures and we're going to go through that, and this is the first time Sidney has seen them, so he's going to go down memory lane with us. Welcome, Sidney. How are you?
All right, thank you. I can't believe you found pictures of Raiford, Florida.
Well, and these are from, you were in Raiford, you were in that prison from 60 to 65, right?
Right.
1960 to 65, and some of these are even older than that, and some of them are right after. So let's let me pull them up here. I went on a website, and I think it's called Florida Memories, and that is where I found these. I will put a link to the website so you guys can go back and find more of these pictures if you guys decide you want to. And also just to kind of give them a shout out, because I think it's pretty cool that you can find these kinds of pictures online. So I know it's going to be fun for James to see this. Now, the first one you're going to see is not that fun. The first one you're going to see is the old. I'll just let you see it. It's Old Smoky. Let me know when you can see it.
Oh, that's the death row, electric chair.
Mm-hmm. Now you actually have a story. You were on the same side of the building as the death row, weren't you? On the same hallway.
If that is the old one, that was at the Rock. The new death row was moved over to the East Unit.
Right.
It's where I tried to escape out of. And their death row was on Q Wing. Q Wing was like on the bottom floor. What you got to realize that the whole prison was built like you had 2-3 stories, but the main row that you walked on and everything was the second story. Then underneath, you walked down, like in the cell blocks, you came in off there, you walked down, or you went upstairs. Okay, this is on, if this picture's right, I think this one here was the old one. So it would have been taken in what they call the Rock. Right. Which is in Raiford. That's the main prison. And it always the death row, the electric chair is set in where if you go to solitaire, you go to the hold, it's always in that area there. That electric chair, there was a guy named Guru who actually shot and killed. Somehow he got a gun on death row, and when they were taking him to death row, he shot a bunch of guards and killed the warden there.
Oh my gosh.
The warden was Mr. Gowan. And his son later worked his way all the way through the ranks and became Major Godwin when I left Florida. I'm sure he got higher up in that, but he was the major. But he actually got a gun smuggled into the prison back in I don't know how many years ago. But that's the old one at the Rock.
Right, that's the old one we talk about that building in our book. It's called the White Rock, and it wasn't necessarily because it was white, it was because they were still segregated at that time, and that's where the white inmates were kept. Now, let me know when you see this picture.
Okay, this picture, I believe, is the East Unit. Because it's 3 stories tall.
Can you see it better now?
I'm almost positive it's the East Unit.
Yeah, they called it the East Unit, and then this building goes all the way around, and this is the yard where the inmates exercised, right?
No, this is a sidewalk that leads out to where you worked every day, worked out in the fields, and also you're coming off of that deal, you go to the yard from there, and you don't actually do nothing in that area. But see, it was 3 stories tall, but everything starts on the second floor. You know, everything, go to Chow, everything's on the second floor, then there's floors underneath. All these cells at that time were all single cells. You know, you had your commode, your toilet and everything there, but that's the East Unit. When you cross the river, there's a river, and one's Union County, and I forget what the other county is, but the Rock's in one county, and then Raiford is actually in that county. And then you go over there, and then Stark, Florida is where we got tried for the attempted escape. Stark, Florida is in that county
Right.
where the East Unit is.
Right. It's all basically one complex, but you just go across the way and
Yeah,
it's
across the river.
yeah. Yeah.
One time during a hurricane, after the hurricane left, it hit Jacksonville in that area, that we couldn't go out to work in the fields for a week because a lot of the alligators from we're only 30 some odd miles from the no, not the Okeechobee. I can't think of the swamp there that connects Florida and Georgia. I can't think of the name of it, but we're only 30 some odd miles from the swamp. And because of that river that was there, the alligators decided to come down and visit through the river in there.
Oh my goodness. All right. Here's another picture. I think this one is, you'll recognize this one for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the front of the East Unit.
That's the front of the East Unit, and then what we were looking at was behind this complex and in between the others. So,
Right.
yeah, so that's the front of the building.
Yeah, you never get to go out there. The only
Right.
people that go out there are trustees cutting the grass.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I think I have a picture of, let me check here. Hang on, I have to open it on this screen and then share it. I think I have a picture of what a cell looked like. I don't know who this inmate is in the picture. It was taken in I don't know. This was taken, I believe, before your time. Let me get back to it here real quick. I apologize, it takes a minute. I have to open them up in a separate screen and then share them. Where did it go? I lost it. Hold on. It actually shows a cell, which I know, of course, is no surprise to you, but some people may not know what they really look like. So I found this one and I thought I'd share it. And of course, my computer's deciding to be slow today. We had trouble with that, even trying to get on. Okay, so here it comes. But this kind of gives the viewers an idea of what it looked like, and I'm sure it may have looked a little different by the time you came, because I was thinking this was about 10 years, taken 10 years before you were there.
Okay, yeah. That might have been, it could have been an 8-man cell, the way it looks, or it could have been a 2-man cell. Everything in the rock, as you worked your way up, you started off in an 8-man cell. And then you went to a 2-man cell as they were available in your seniority. And this looks more like this is definitely the rock. And you can see how it's fixed up like a little house, So I'm almost sure that was a 2-man cell.
And if you look, I didn't notice this before. I'm going to see if I can zoom in so it's big enough for you to see.
Where the toilet is?
Look at that man's pillow. No, can you see his pillow right here? See if I can blow it up bigger so you can see it. Hold on. He has a pillow that says lifer on it.
Yeah, well, he probably was doing a life sentence.
Yeah. I'm like, why would you put that on your pillow?
Yeah, you see, he was in the rock. That's a fancy commode for the rock. See, the East, you had all metal, and you had your sink on top and your commode on the bottom. So, yeah, he probably was doing a life sentence, got a cigarette dangling out of his mouth,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. He's got lifer on his pillow like it's some kind of logo to be proud of.
Well, I don't know who he was, but he had to have a lot of connections that had that 2-man cell.
Right, and there's a lot of stuff in there too.
Bunk. Hey, he had the bottom bunk too, which is a biggie.
Yeah, so it had to be somebody.
When I was younger, I always wanted the top bunk.
Oh yeah.
It's hard for somebody to reach up to stab you.
Oh yeah. And see, that's again something that people wouldn't realize, if they'd never been in prison. Just like you told me, even to this day, that taking a shower is stressful because that's where most people get killed in prison. And I'm like, that's something people don't realize unless they've spent time there. Okay, now in our book we talk about the dog boys, and And here, this was taken about, I think it was like 15 years or so before
Oh,
you. They were on
and before
horseback,
me.
and
That's a horse.
if you look at it, they had signed it ready for the chase. But this is a picture of some dog boys um, at Raiford, Florida. So tell people what a dog boy is.
Dog boy is an inmate that they call them dog boys that actually, what they do is they run the dogs. A lot of people have a misconception. They think the dogs bark when they're chasing you. The majority of the dogs are what they call scent dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't scent your scent, they scent a scent of any human being.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if they feel you're in this area, you escape, you're in this area, they will surround that area with dog boys. They run the dogs. And as soon as the dog gets the scent of a human, it starts, it don't bark, it whines a little bit, and then
Yeah.
they know for sure.
Right.
And they run behind the dog, their hound dog. And then
Right.
you saw the horsemen and then, or they're on foot or that. And they, nowadays they use pickup trucks,
Yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
they carry
Well,
me
and
over.
that's something we talked about back when we started, because you were actually the one that got me started into writing true crime. I had never even thought
Right.
about going this path. And that was something you explained to me. And when you're watching the movies and an inmate escapes, all the sirens go off and the lights go off, and then the dogs start barking in the background and running and chasing it. And that's just Hollywood, because in
Right.
reality, they don't want you to know that their dog is just
In
right
that
on your
area.
heels.
Right.
They want to catch you. Yeah.
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 Well,
And so that's, but if
life
you've
is
never
a
been in
circle.
that situation, you may not know that,
You
because
gotta
I
be,
didn't think about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And not a good situation to be in, I
No,
guarantee.
no, definitely not. No, I'm glad I've never had to be in the situation. Okay, let's see. I think I have, let's see. I have two more pictures. Okay, let me open this one. Now this one is a picture of the chow hall at Raiford. You've been in so many prisons, I keep stumbling because I forget which prison we're talking about. So I'm sorry, guys, if you see me stumble, because I'm like, I keep wanting to say Marion, and then I'm like, no, wait, we're talking about Raiford right now. Let's see. So let's open this one up, and I'll blow it up a little bit bigger so you can see it. Now, there were two different pictures of Chow Hall. They had it in Raiford, and this one, I think, was more like what it looked like when you were there.
Yeah, that
Can
would
you
be
see it?
in the rock. And you come in, now when you sit down at a table, as you're eating, you can't talk, you're not supposed to talk. And you can give food, like say you're not going to eat your carrots or greens, you can give it to the guy next to him. Can't go give it to the guy around there. And then prison guards walk up and down into in between the chow hall.
Mm-hmm.
And what they'll do is they'll tap on the table. And when they tap on the table, means your time's up and you better get up and go, or else you're going to be in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And once they tap, they're telling you, all right, you're through eating.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're through eating or not, you're going to go,
Right.
because they got so many inmates they have to feed.
Mm-hmm.
But,
That they
yeah,
heard you through there.
yeah,
I
that's in the
found it
rock.
kind of interesting, because I was thinking, you'd said that the guards go up and down the aisles. That's not a lot of space in between there. If you've got four grown men sitting around this table, that's not a lot of space.
And you better bump into
So
the
if you
rock.
get some hot-tempered inmates bumping into each other, I could see how that would cause some troubles. I'm surprised they didn't.
You're one thing for sure, you're going to eat now in Texas. And when I was at that last unit in there, they take out, like they'll take a seat out and a seat up. That
Mhm.
way you can bring your wheelchair up to it.
Oh, that's
But
good.
it's still the same principle as,
Right.
I mean, all of them, they got the same principle. When they tap on that table, you better get your butt out of there. I don't care whether you're true eating or not.
Oh.
That's why you always eat the good stuff first.
Right. So when they tell you eat, life is short, eat dessert first, you think that came from a prison?
Yeah, eat the good stuff first. Eat your dessert, especially if they got cake. When I sit down, boy, you better eat that sucker as soon as you sit down.
Eat dessert first.
If you got any kind of meat that really looks good,
Uh-huh. You're gonna
Don't
eat
worry
that
about
first.
the veggies. You save the veggies for last.
Now
Beans
this
and
one, oh wait, my computer's doing funny things. There it is. This one won't let me blow it up for some reason. Let me
Right.
try this way. I know you have bad eyesight. We talk about that in the book, how we think some of that may have come from being in solitary so long. Okay, let me share this last picture and see if it looks familiar to you. Now this is, again, it's in Raiford.
Right.
Is this the
That
way they
is in
set
the
it up
East
for you?
Unit. That's in the East Unit, because the first schools that were ever put in was in the East Unit. I wish we could see the inmate, because I doubt very seriously if it might have been after the first school, all the people that were teachers were inmates. Joe Peel, Frank Beck, but no, these here are the real teachers then.
Yeah,
And
I can't get in close enough to see them,
not
but
only
we
that, I
talked
can't,
about
I don't
how they,
understand the clothing there.
yeah,
That's not the Raiford style. I don't know
it's not
where that was
standard
taken.
clothing. Yeah, because that this was, I believe they said this was taken in 1970,
Yeah, well,
and that
that's
was
when
after your
I
time there.
wasn't even there then.
Mm-hmm.
These are pre-world teachers then. They must, they got the money appropriated finally. But we,
You
I had
were
a
part
big
of the
deal.
first class there, though, weren't you?
I was in the first class, even though I had to graduate from the 8th grade. They opened the school up for 8th grade. They told me, you got to go to school anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people that taught the school, what happened was there was a governor named Fuller Warren, and I believe he was the governor, or Richard Warren was the governor, one or the other, either Richard or, but his name was Warren. They came to the East Unit, and which was over there, and they presented that one of them was the governor, the ex-governor. Oh, it was a big deal. They had officials from all over the state and everything there, that they were going to start educating us, and they were using the word. For a long time, they had a word that they used for rehabilitation. Then for about 20 years, 30 years, they took the word rehabilitation. You're set for punishment. Now they're back to rehabilitation. And rehabilitation, to me, works better than, I mean, if you can convince somebody that, you need to come out to society and do the right thing. And the majority, I would say the majority of inmates that are in prison today don't really want to be in prison. I'm not saying the majority of them want to come out and lead a good life.
Right.
And
Well, and a lot of times they just don't know how. A lot of times they might be addicted to drugs or something, and they need help with their addiction, and then they need help being productive members of the society. And so I'm for rehabilitation too. I do think that there's some people that have a psychosis, a psychosis issue that they need to be locked away for life, no ifs, ands, or buts. But I think a lot of people, they may have just got on the wrong path and need some way to find another one, find a better one. So
you wanted to talk about a minute ago, you mentioned my old buddy, Mr. McVickers.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that because I seen a really sad story come across Facebook, and it was an 81-year-old bank robber suspect. He admitted to robbing the bank because he wanted to go back to prison because his Social Security check was so small and he couldn't get enough assistance to make to manage life. And I'm like, it's really sad that we take better care of our inmates than we do our senior citizens. And that reminded me of a story that you told me when we were working on the book about Mr. McVickers.
Mr. McVickers, back in them days, if the whole system, Ronald Reagan, I think, was the one who screwed it up. If you was in prison, you didn't get your Social Security check no more. That's the reason why when I got out of prison after all them years, I had $52,000 coming back, because you didn't get yourself, but they couldn't take it away from you because you earned it.
Right.
But Ronald Reagan and you couldn't get your GI money and all that. Like, You get, people that go to prison had big retirement money in the military and stuff like that. But anyways, Mr. McVickers was 80 some odd years old, and he stayed in the hospital, of course, and he got up every morning and they ate and took his meds, and then his buddies would get together, then they played pinochle all freaking day long. When they ate, they just put the cards away, they sat at the table, and they played until 10 o'clock at night, and that's all they did was play pinochle, argue and cut up. Well, I also, at that time, you got your Social Security money. So Mr. McVickers, I said, so you're getting out in a week? He said, oh, I'll be back. I said, where you be going to be back? He said, oh, yeah, well, I got a bunch of money. He said, and I know where the girls are. And believe it or not, the old man can still handle that. And I'm going to go with the girls. And after I run out of money, I'll be back. And I thought he was joking. God, he's 80 some odd years old. So sure enough, he gets out, and what he does, he knows where the Bordillo house is or whatever, and they all know him, because I didn't know he'd been doing this until later. I checked out 4 or 5 years in a row he'd done it, and he was on his 5th time he done it. So what he does, he stays with the girls there. And as soon as he runs out of money, which takes a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, he'll run out of money, then he knows he's got to go. And so he goes and gets a brick and throws it through a post office window and sits there. And then the police come, Mr. McVickers, what'd you do? I broke that window. Tell the judge, give me a year. And they take him to the county jail because his health is so bad. And, right away they take him in front of a judge. Judge said, all right, what do you want? I give him another year. And they give him a year. And he goes back to prison. And he gets right down the street where he's going to, in Atlanta. And within say a month and a half, he's back up there in the bed again. And all right, and let's play pinochle. And he does that for a whole freaking year, when his good times only, I think at that time he only got 2, 3 days a month is awesome. But then his money builds up, and I seen him twice go out, and it's sad because he had no family, no nothing to go to, and he had a good retirement money, I'm sure. Not only from Social Security, from other stuff. Real educated man, very smart and intelligent.
Right.
Later in life, I thought, man, that's pretty sad, But
the only people you have as friends are inmates, and you have no life outside of those prison walls, and you could get better care in there. And so I seen that story come across the news, and I'm like, that's been going on for a long time. What time frame was that?
This was in the 60s.
In the
60s? 60s, let's see, I was in Atlanta. Probably from 67, 66, 67, 68, I was in Atlanta. Yeah, so I knew him from twice going out and coming back.
and see, that's the thing. We need reform in this country. I try not to get political on this channel, but we need some kind of reform for our senior citizens, because this has been going on since the 60s and 70s, and it's still in the news. It's still
what's sad is you take what it costs for an inmate to be in prison when he's in medical problem. Okay, when you take him out, you put him under Medicare, Medicaid. Okay. He still may be a problem, but he's not a problem. He's not going to go out, he's in a wheelchair. He certainly ain't going to go rob no bank, So there's a lot of, that one unit I was on, almost everybody had one leg missing or a leg cut off, and what was they going to, they were mostly in there for parole violation because they didn't have much money and they were selling drugs.
Yeah.
That
trying to get by.
Trying to get by just selling drugs. We ain't going to go out there and kill nobody. We ain't going to rob nobody with it.
In reality, it kind of makes you question, if we took better care of our senior citizens, would they have to do something so drastic to take care of themselves? You know what I mean? So it kind of goes back. Now, there's some people that they're going to be criminals till the day they die. That's what they are. That's the way they function. But then there's a lot of people that they just get in a bad situation and they can't think of another way out. And
I have an opinion on something.
Okay.
I would like to share with you.
Sure.
I see the deal about the drug crisis, right? and when I see it on TV, I go, all right, well, what's the drug crisis? Okay, so these people were on whatever drug it was for years. All of a sudden, their doctor got scared and took them off drugs. You have just made an illegal person. because they've been on them drugs. They're now going to go out and buy drugs illegally. Now,
Right.
here's the sad point on that. You're not thinking out of the box. Not only do they spend the money then goes to the cartels, and it just, in other words, it keeps them coming. Oh yeah, don't give them his drugs. We'll sell them drugs, and they can get the drug cheaper. And that's another thing too. You go to the street to get street drugs to maintain from pain cheaper than you can get it over the counter.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you created the crime yourself by
Right.
doctors to get it together. Like I
Right.
get this guy pain medicine for a reason. He's got pain. He's justified. So I'm not going to cut his medicine off. Why?
Right.
There's no reason to.
Right.
And
Well, and
that-
that's something too. Even if they stepped them down off of it
Yeah.
and gave them an alternative,
Right.
but from everybody that I know, they just jerk them off of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's just gonna cause them to have withdrawal symptoms. That's gonna cause them to have all kinds of other health problems. And then now they're out there, and what are they gonna do? So I'm right
when
there
I
with
learned
you.
about that, cutting a guy off,
Yeah.
I was in Texas prison in the Michael unit. There was a guy named from Tyler, Texas, named Ralph, and big old educated guy, and he was unassigned medically, and he typed all the time, was typing writs up and helping people and everything, and he had money coming in from some family. Well, I wondered about him. I found out what he did. They gave him Prozac as for so many years, and then they cut him off his Prozac. And he went crazy. And he went in front of a TV camera with the pistol with his dad as the hostage and had the TVs and news people and everything strong. If I don't get my Prozac, I'm going to kill my father. And the doctor said, which the doctor later got sued and everything else, I'm not giving you nothing. And just was real nasty. He was on TV and everything. So what did he do? He killed his dad.
Oh my gosh.
It was so sad, and of course he regrets it through all his life.
Oh
but
yeah, he has to live with that.
He said, I still don't remember shooting my father. He said, because that drug, for so many years, I took it. So I realized, and then I started studying drugs.
And what it does to you. Yeah.
Prozac wasn't on my list of something I ever wanted.
No. Well, and that's the thing, when you're on it for so many years and then you're jerked off of it, it literally makes you lose your mind for a while until your body gets, after you get through those withdrawal symptoms. Sometimes those withdrawal symptoms cause severe psychosis.
See, when I went to Greene County, which is right here in Springfield, when the U.S. Marshals finally found me for my parole violation in Texas. And when I went up there, they're not going to even give you no pain medicine. You're stuck up. What they do, though, for almost 2 weeks, they gave me a medicine to help me get off the pain medicine that I was taking. And I asked them, what's it for? Well, you show that you were taking Opol or whatever they call it. I can't pronounce that word. What's it called?
Opiates?
Yeah, opioids. So they had to give me a medicine to help reduce it, which that never bothered me, but I didn't realize they gave me that. And then I realized when you do take that medicine, opioids, and they're smart enough to know, all right, we ain't gonna let this guy just cold turkey. So
Right, and that's the thing. It's a chemical issue in your body, and they need to, just like they do in drug rehabs, they give you some medication to help you step off of that. And I think if they would do that when they rip these people off of these medications they've taken for years, then they might be able to function through it and not turn to crime or not turn to some kind of drastic thing like that man did.
Right.
But it goes back to what we talked about before. If we took better care of our senior citizens, then we wouldn't have these problems, but we're so focused on taking care of everything else, and we forget our seniors. And our seniors is what built the country. We should be respectful enough to say, hey, I was taught to respect your elders because they're the ones that created the world around you. We're creating the world for our children and the next generation. You're supposed to take care of those. And I think as a society, we're not really doing a good job of it.
No, we're not.
No. Oh, well, thank you for joining us today on this show. Guys, we'll see you next week for some more Sonova True Crime Stories. Today's episode is brought to you by Bones Coffee Company. You can forget about boring coffee when you drink Bones Coffee. Not only do they offer a variety of flavors such as strawberry cheesecake and maple bacon, they are a family-owned company that puts great detail not only in their coffee, but in the artwork that comes on each individual bag. Bones Coffee has a coffee club that will deliver your favorite coffee to your door every month. If that wasn't enough, they also have some amazing swag to offer. Check out Bones Coffee Company today. I'll have my affiliate links in the show notes for you.